Welcome back. In this portion, we will be going over problem people or the negative games people play. Understanding that this section refers to many of us, and this is not a letter of condemnation, but instead this is for the purpose of building within yourself so that you may improve and become even better. You can use the steps to improve and understand and redirect your choices of direction to stride to attain enlightenment. Being a problem person is something many are not aware of, but some know what they are doing and wish to hurt others or sacrifice others, and even themselves for that matter, because the people that they had done wrong or sacrificed may have been their own family members who could have helped to heal them to become better people. In this section, please try not to become overwhelmed by these negative examples, because as you continue along, you will learn the process of how to deal with such individuals and even look within yourself to ask yourself, what kind of person really are you? So, the doorway to knowledge will be attained, and you will learn exactly what the problems are and how to solve them. All knowledge springs forth from a singularity. All of knowledge. And like all of this knowledge above and below are like fractals. And so they are repetitive and done over and over again from the micro to the macro. And hopefully you can use this knowledge to attain enlightenment. What you reflect on the outside of you does not necessarily mean this is what you are feeling on the inside of you. In some cases, it can be so, but this is not always necessarily the case. There are positive people that will want to be with you because you are projecting positive body language or words, and join in the process of sharing energy. So when someone is smiling and sharing their positive energy, some will want to join in while others will find it insulting for no reason whatsoever other than that they are negative. Negative people project negative body language and may even deny what they're actually doing, or may even say that their body language was negative because they're angry at someone else. Not that it necessarily was true or not, but some will lie in order to just project negative while you project positive, or have some other excuse. But the problem is that they are still clearly projecting negative energy towards you and no one else. You can choose not to be gullible. Do not believe anyone if they say their body language is positive, or use semantics in order to say, well, they're not angry, they're just flustered or irritated in the same family as anger, and still projecting anger. So they say their body language is not negative when it actually is. if you take a picture of them, you could see the frown and the anger in their face. And they're projecting that with their body language. There are going to be some examples of people, how they communicate with their body language, their words, their actions, as to say, well, what are you talking about? Or to say that you're confused. And, or looking left to right as to saying that, that's not true, or shrugging their shoulders, or raising their hands. And people use body language in order to communicate, just like waving to another person to say bye, or threatening someone with a finger, pointing at someone, or by staring at them in an angry face. To send these negative body languages, or also to confuse you, to say they're not sending negative body languages when they are. Some people may be doing it subconsciously. There are very few people that actually look like that, so you don't always assume. But there are far fewer people that actually show an overall attitudes with their voice and their body language and their facial expressions in order to show an overall truth as to what exactly they are projecting. Some people actually claim that they're happy with an angry face, or saying they're angry with a happy face. And some people will say, well, in body language, that you're odd or crazy by taking a finger and circling their ear as to say this person is crazy. Or a person is sexy by looking them up and down with wide eyes, or lowering their jaw. And also there's a certain look that certain people can give you by saying they're not happy with you, just by looking at you. Therefore, sometimes projecting it towards a certain individual may make them self-conscious and staring at your body language, your movement, and not focusing on the negative. The negative objective is of a negative individual, and this is where you can decipher it as well, is if they're being negative, don't draw into that negative. They could have been having a bad day. Unless you know the person, then you will know their construct. But if you don't know the person, then your objective is to stay with the objective and to stay positive. If their objective is negative, that's not your objective, so don't feed into that energy. So you can choose to be positive, and maybe you could draw them to the positive side, but you do not want to be swayed into joining a negative side, which most likely even that individual doesn't want to be negative. They may want to be happy. And if they switch to being happy, then you will know that, well, this person has a lot of hope in them, which is good. But if not, it could be self-defeating. That's usually because they don't know how to get themselves out. It'll behoove you to try to help them if you can. If not, then continue to use or do your objective and not to feed into such anger, because that's self-defeating. So regardless of these negative circumstances and negative conditioning, you stay positive. Therefore, you becoming stronger psychologically than any physical situation that has negative projection towards you. And consequently, this becomes empowering to yourself and helps teach you through your beliefs and choices. So we are always at this state of choosing, well, how do I want to react? Is this person controlling the way I want to be, feel, and behave because of their projection, or knowing that you are free to overcome such behavior, which is detrimental and destructive to even your own family, your friends, and your spouse, not realizing that you are a slave and in bondage to this negative energy, this negative form of being, which has negative consequences, negative choices in a negative direction. And then you have what some people call mind control, but really that's non-existent. It's called mind deception, and that's projecting a person's ignorance and negatives. And some people who claim to be enlightened quickly become negative because somebody else is a negative. Therefore, they're a slave to this negative energy, this negative understanding, before they lack true wisdom and true knowledge. And these negatives, they use them in order to manipulate others. So they're using the negative energy like their dog. And they're sick in the negative energy, and once you feel that energy, you then kowtow and do as they do, and then they'll say that you're the monster when it was them. And so what they're doing is they're controlling through this deception, commanding you to do what they do, and unless you're a positive master, meaning you understand how these negatives play and these positives play in our understanding, which is everywhere. It's in our math, it's in our words, it's in our music, it's in every aspect in our being, including the positive energy and the negative energy that are used in automobiles, in our breathing, in you name it. Magnets and so forth is what helps, or rather what's structured all together and unified together, even in the atom. So you will know and understand how this all works, and how some people use this as a tactic and have been using it for thousands of years. And so there's this, again, this deception, mind deception, which some people call mind control. And it's really not mind control, but it's a deception. And the first attempt is to try to sway you and to control you, but it's not really control, it's trying to sway you. And if that is unsuccessful, then sometimes they will go from that and may resort to physical control. And that's when they will start to use pain and torture, as in what some people call is the Christ effect. And the Christ effect is which negative people are fearful, so afraid of you because of your different ways and thoughts, that they lose control themselves because they can't control what they think they can control, because they are unable to affect you with this mind deception, what they call mind control. So then they will escalate it because you do not have the same objective, the negative objectives that they have for themselves and others. So then they would team up and use what they call reverse policy. And they would then use the policy to punish you, although the policy is supposed to be used to punish those who break laws and do evil. But now they're switching it to punish those who do good. And so then they use the physical control. And it doesn't work with all people. Some people will kowtow, and some people will be like, no. Many people have died for what they believe. So the end effect will be like negative people are willing to kill for what they believe, and positive people are willing to die for what they believe because they stand up for peace, which is the only way to become enlightened. So this mind deception works with a person projecting their negative beliefs through sounds, through words and actions. They project energy. When a person perceives another person's negative actions, they will feel that energy because they're projecting this negative energy towards you. So some people call this possession. And but the negative energy or entity, depending on how you're explaining this, it cannot control or stay in control of a positive individual. They'll do so for a certain period of time. These negative redundant actions projected are done over and over again because our society has been conditioned that way, and create this redundant negative thinking, depending on the negative, like anxiety or even anger, but it's over and over. The end result will be negative conditioning. This is called negative redundant thoughts by negative redundant actions. But if you attain the knowledge and understand this, you will know when someone is projecting their negative energy onto you. And you will know that that negative energy is not yours. It does not belong to you. But it was a projection of the negative person, so they're sharing their entities or their energy from a source that's a projection that has now come onto you. Once you figure out how this works, instead of following a negative redundant perception projection of conditioning through patterns, you can refuse it. And you neither believe in it, you act on it, or you use its inner dialogue, because the first inner dialogue of negative is to attack. But instead, you neither fight or flight, but you stay calm within yourself. So you don't attack immediately back. I mean, if the person is right next to you, you can protect yourself, of course. And but your first objective is not to be like, okay, I'm going to kill this guy. I'm going to hurt this guy. Your first objective should be defend yourself and verbally tell him, hey, get a hold of yourself. Because eventually they're going to get what they deserve. So if you're a true positive, you're going to try to at least make an attempt to explain, hey, buddy, this ain't going to work out for you if you keep this kind of behavior. Sooner or later, you're going to run into a problem, a major problem. So you're doing them a favor, but do it in such a way that perhaps they could learn that. So you don't always give it all sweet and flowers. Sometimes you got to give negative for the positive, meaning righteous action. Sometimes you got to say, hey, this is not good. This is not a great idea. I'm trying to tell you to help you. I'm not here to hurt you. Whether they want to learn from it, that's their decision. And once you did that, that's it. So again, basically, if it's a fight, you use the fight procedure. Again, you can rope-a-dope, meaning that's their energy. Negative energy is always exhaustive, and it doesn't rise to the occasion, but it's over usage. It's wasteful. Positive energy has to rise to the occasion, and it simply just waits it out. It's calm, it's patient. It's neither fight, but it doesn't run, and it doesn't attack. But it stays right there and just say, hey, control yourself. Otherwise, if they don't control themselves, they'll be nothing more than a rabid dog. And you don't let a rabid dog just run around biting people. It has to be put down somewhere along the line. But being human beings and understanding, hopefully they'll understand. So you're doing them a favor. They might not realize it then now, but then later they'll understand. Hopefully, if they seek the right path. So, therefore, you do not have negative empathy, only positive empathy. You'll have negative apathy. So it's a form of understanding. Negative apathy is just, negative empathy, rather, leads to only death. Negative